Have you ever just felt off? Like low energy, weird cravings, brain fog, and couldn't quite figure out why? The truth is your body might be low on key nutrients. But here's what's really interesting. In traditional Chinese medicine, these same symptoms have been observed for thousands of years, long before we had words for magnesium deficiency or low B12. So today, I'm going to walk you through 23 subtle signs that your body might be crying out for more nutrients, and how both Western science and traditional Chinese medicine explain them, plus what to do about it. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Alex Heyne, author of the health book Master of the Day and board licensed doctor of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. So let's jump into sign number one. Sign number one, you're tired all the time. Not just that I stayed up late tired, but that bone deep fatigue. This can be a sign of iron, B12, or protein deficiency. So often supplementing with those things will show an improvement. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's often what we call spleen qi deficiency or kidney yang deficiency. These most likely relate to a digestive problem or a problem like, for example, with your adrenals or hormones. So what can you actually do about it? A famous formula I would recommend is called 4 4-gentleman decoction for what we call spleen qi deficiency, like it relates to digestive enzyme production and bloating and gas, that kind of thing. Or if it's more of like a hormonal problem or more related to your adrenals and the stress response, high cortisol, there's a formula called Jingui Shenqiwan for kidney deficiency. And of course, from a traditional Chinese medicine point of view, you always want to be eating warm, nourishing foods like congis and bone broths. Sign number two. You feel dizzy and lightheaded, especially when standing up. Now, from a biomedical point of view, this can often be low iron or B12. It can also be issues with your nervous system, for example. In traditional Chinese medicine, we say that this is related to blood deficiency, in the sense that the blood isn't nourishing the brain properly. Now, I know that's a weird explanation, but there's lots that you can do about it. One thing you can try is a famous formula called 四物汤, which means 4 substances decoction. Certain kinds of acupuncture can benefit this as well. And there are also certain foods that we say are traditionally blood nourishing or blood building, like goji berries or even supplementing with liver and organ meats. Sign number 3, your hands and your feet are always cold. Now, from a biomedical point of view, this can mean poor circulation or hypothyroid. But in traditional Chinese medicine, we call this yang deficiency, especially of what we call the kidney and the spleen. So generally speaking, when people are very cold, number 1, we have to fix their digestion. This is what we say relates to the spleen. It's like pancreatic enzyme deficiency, that kind of thing. When we talk about the kidney, this is typically what you see when people have endocrine-related hormonal issues. You can see this with people who are chronically stuck in fight or flight. So the body is changing what it's trying to do with blood flow to prepare for a fight. Now, sometimes, like if you've ever had a panic attack or an anxiety attack, if you feel yourself getting cold or tingly, you know exactly what I'm talking about. How can you actually treat this? From a traditional Chinese medicine point of view, warming herbs, for example, like ginger, are very effective, cinnamon bark and cinnamon twig, rougui or guizhi, as well as the formula we mentioned earlier, Jingui Shenqiwan, are commonly used for this pattern. And of course, just day-to-day dietetics, drinking cinnamon tea, ginger tea, or even having warming meats like lamb stew. We consider lamb to be one of the most yang, tonifying, or warming foods. Sign number 4 is you're short of breath during mild activity. Now, this can be due to lots of things like anemia or low oxygen transport. Obviously, heart disease can cause this as well. If you're an asthmatic, that can cause that as well. In traditional Chinese medicine, we call this lung qi deficiency or heart blood deficiency. But how do we actually end up treating this? We end up treating this with formulas like sheng mai san or gui pi tang. On a dietary point of view, astragalus, an herb called huangqi, is very effective for regulating the immune system, and jujube date, dazao, are very, very good as well. It's very, very high in potassium, and we say dazao is a traditional blood builder. Sign number 5, your muscles feel weak or soft. From a biomedical point of view, this can be issues like low protein or even low magnesium consumption. Sometimes magnesium is really, really effective, probably the number 1 most effective supplement for muscle cramping and spasming. In traditional Chinese medicine, we say it's a sign of spleen qi deficiency or kidney essence deficiency. So for example, sometimes you see people who have like a failure to thrive presentation. These are kids that have a hard time growing and developing. Sometimes that is a digestive problem from our point of view, and sometimes that's an essence or genetic problem from another point of view. A famous formula you can utilize for this is called ba zhen tang, right? And then in terms of dietetics, what you can do here is you can start eating more black sesame seeds in like your oatmeal or in stews, and bone marrow and bone broths are very, very good for this as well. Now let's move into more of like the mental and emotional health category. Sign number 6 is that you have brain fog. From a biomedical point of view, this can be related to low B12, so B vitamins, can be related to low omega-3s, can also be related to blood sugar crashes. So the first thing I say to patients if they have brain fog is, if you never come to see me, go do an elimination diet for 30 days and just see what happens to the brain fog. Doesn't solve every case, but often digestion is the first place I go. Now in traditional Chinese medicine, we say this is either spleen qi deficiency, right? Digestive problems that are producing a pathological byproduct we call dampness. The other sign where you're seeing brain fog is something called kidney essence deficiency. You know, brain fog can also just be due to the fact that you are actually exhausted and you haven't slept well in 5 years. So if you fix the sleep, you'll fix the brain fog. In terms of a formula you can try from traditional Chinese medicine, gui pi tang is very, very good for both digestive problems plus deeper levels of nervous system dysregulation or chronically elevated stress hormones. You know, usually you're not sleeping well, you're getting heart palpitations and anxiety, that kind of thing. For foods, walnuts, egg yolks, and even doing gentle qigong can really help with brain fog, so breathing exercises. Sign number 7, you feel low or depressed for no clear reason. This can be due to 100 different things, but some areas you can look in on a biomedical side, it can be low omega-3s, or it can be low amino acids. From a traditional Chinese medicine point of view, we say this is often, can be liver qi stagnation, which basically means like the pent-up stress response. When people come in, they say, you know, I just feel stuck, I feel frustrated, nothing's getting better, nothing's changing. I go to the fridge, I don't want to eat. Friends reach out, I don't want to go out. Someone calls me, I don't want to answer. This is like that locked between life or death feeling. And this is where you usually need to treat the physiology more heavily. Kind of similar to the way you would treat it with antidepressants, for example. Now, in terms of formulas that can help, a formula called Xiaoyaosan is a very trendy TCM formula that's very good for the pent-up stress response of that just kind of like feeling constrained or stuck or agitated. On the other side, if you're more towards like the depressive side, more crying, another formula called Ganmai Dazao Tang can help. And of course, physical exercise and eating more blood-building foods is very, very helpful here and very important. Sign number 8, you're anxious, jittery, or restless. From a biomedical point of view, this can be due to low magnesium or unstable cortisol levels. Traditional Chinese medicine might call this heart yin deficiency or liver fire. On the liver fire side, this is typically where people feel more agitated and stressed. They often will have high blood pressure, they often will have high cholesterol, and that kind of thing. On heart yin deficiency, this is more like the traditional nervous system and adrenal pattern. Fast heart rate, palpitations, just feeling on edge, not feeling settled and grounded. So very, very different patterns here to consider. Certain formulas can be very, very effective. One is called Tianwan Bushendan. This is more for like that heart pattern where it's more nervous system and adrenals. And another one is called Swanza Rentang. This is like a very trendy TCM sleep formula, well studied. In terms of dietary stuff, you can consider chamomile tea and grounding foods like grains and rices and that sort of thing. Sign number 9, you can't fall or can't stay asleep. Now, there are hundreds of different causes of insomnia, but some general areas you can look. On the biomedical side, this can be low calcium, magnesium, or melatonin. So consider those 3. From a traditional Chinese medicine side, insomnia can stem from what we call heart blood or heart yin deficiency. A lot of this really relates to nervous system functioning, cortisol levels, and general stress hormones. But the first thing people never think to look when they can't sleep is digestion. I'll tell you, the number of times I've seen a patient of mine fix digestion first, or we use a formula for digestion, and then they sleep well after, start there. In terms of formulas, famous formulas we have talked about already, Tianwang Bushendan and Swanza Rentang can be very, very helpful when it's more of like a nervous system, sympathetic dominance, or stress-related kind of insomnia. And eating certain calming foods like longan fruit can be very, very helpful here as well. Sign number 10, you're snapping at people. From a biomedical point of view, you know, sure, this can just be because you had a fight with your spouse or because you don't like people in general or your boss sucks. But on a biomedical level, this can be due to blood sugar or stress overload most commonly. So from a traditional Chinese medicine point of view, we say anger relates to the liver. So very often this diagnosis is called liver qi stagnation. Almost like literally that pent-up energy is not getting discharged somewhere in a healthy way. There's a pressure valve that needs to be opened up. A formula that you can try for this is called Chaihu Shu Gansan. This is a traditional formula that we say regulates liver function and the stress response. And on a lifestyle point of view, you can try mint tea, Just going for long walks after work, and even just emotionally journaling can all help reset that response. But I highly recommend exercise as my #1 tip for that. Now let's move more into the digestion and appetite signs. So in terms of digestion, sign number 11 is that you feel bloated after meals. #1 most common thing I see in my clinic. Most commonly on a biomedical level, this relates to poor digestive enzyme production and function from the pancreas, and often relates to low levels of stomach acid, not high. In traditional Chinese medicine, we call this spleen qi deficiency with dampness. This just means that because of chronic digestive irregularities, irregular meals, overeating, eating the wrong foods, your body is producing a pathological byproduct we call dampness. That's the throat clearing, that's the chronic sinus problem, the runny nose, the gas, the loose stools. So a famous formula you can try for this is called Shenling Baijusan. And on a dietary level, you want to always eat warm foods. And what that means is physically temperature warm. Cooked oats, avoid cold salads and avoid smoothies. Have cooked foods. Sign number 12 is that you're just not hungry at all. Now, on a biomedical level, again, relates to lots of different things. You could be living in fight or flight, and so the chronically elevated levels of cortisol and stress hormones are affecting your hunger hormones. It can be low zinc. It can be, again, not enough pancreatic enzyme production. There can be lots of causes. Traditional Chinese medicine, we say stomach yang is too cold and too sluggish. Stomach yang is like stomach function. This includes like enzyme production, stomach acid levels, bile flow from the gallbladder. Now there are lots of formulas I recommend. My favorite one is called Li Zhongwan, regulate the middle pill, and another one is called Ping Wei San, regulate or balance the stomach powder. And again, in terms of a dietary level, ginger tea and warming pungent spices stimulate appetite and metabolism more than anything. Sign 13, you're always craving sugar or salt. Now, on a biomedical level, this is often a sign of blood sugar instability or problems with your adrenals or adrenal fatigue. Now, in traditional Chinese medicine, we say this relates to spleen deficiency or kidney yin or yang imbalance. So these are, again, those correlates: blood sugar and dietary problems, digestive problems. And on the other side, it's primarily related to your adrenals and your chronic dysregulated stress response. Now, in terms of actual formulas you can take, one formula that tends to work pretty well for both is called Liu Junzitang, and that just means 6 gentlemen decoction. It's a very good formula that contains high doses of ginseng, which is great for regulating your HPA axis, one of the physiological pathways related to chronic stressors in your body, and then also has a whole bunch of herbs in there to regulate digestion. Remember to eat warm root veggies, right? Sweet potatoes, starches, brown rice, black rice, those are very good. And then protein-rich meals can be very, very helpful for your blood sugar as well. So if any of those signs hit a little bit too close to home, the fatigue, the brain fog, the cravings, don't ignore them, guys. These are whispers from your body asking for support. And if your gut isn't absorbing nutrients well, that's really the place to start in my opinion. That's why I've put together a free guide to help you fix bloating, food sensitivities, and stubborn digestive problems using Chinese medicine. You can grab it right below. It's helped hundreds of my patients, and it's a great next step if you're really ready to heal from the root. Sign number 14, you're constipated and you can't poop. Biomedical point of view, this most often relates to low fiber levels or even low magnesium, right? I mean, one of the main side effects of magnesium, like positive side effects one could say, is it helps you poop and you get loose stools. In traditional Chinese medicine, there are lots of different kinds of constipation, purely dry, hard stools that are every 3 days, to people are having irregular stools, but they're normal when they come out. They just don't have much of an urge, right? So we say this is often dryness or blood deficiency. If it's dryness, my favorite formula for that is called Banxia Xiexintang. That's a formula we say works on the liver and gallbladder, improves bile flow, and is a gentle laxative. If you don't want to take that formula, another very good one is called Run Changwan. This is a gently moisturizing and purgative formula that's very good for constipation. You can also have sesame oil, you can put flaxseed in your oatmeal, and you can also have pears to help moisturize your constipation. Now on the other side, sign 15 is you have loose stools or diarrhea. From a Chinese medicine point of view, this can mean poor absorption or issues with your gut lining and that kind of thing. It can also mean issues with pancreatic enzyme production. Traditional Chinese medicine, we call this spleen qi deficiency or damp cold in the gut. Now what that means is, again, poor absorption leading to this accumulation or pathological byproduct, gas, fluid, and your body's trying to flush it out. We often see this especially with people who get frequent bowel movements after meals. Like when you eat, you gotta go right after, almost like an IBS presentation. This is commonly in this pattern. In terms of formulas, one famous formula is called Shenling Baijusan, and another one is called Li Zhongwan, regulate the middle pill. These two are my favorite ones for mitigating this pattern and symptoms. And on a dietary and lifestyle point of view, warm foods like rice and ginger can be really helpful. Moving more towards your skin, hair, and appearance, because women ask me a lot about this. Sign 16, you're losing your hair. From a biomedical point of view, this can be all kinds of nutrient deficiencies, low iron, zinc, protein, other things as well. Traditional Chinese medicine, we say this relates to blood deficiency or kidney essence weakness. So you will almost always see problems with your hormones in other ways as well, right? Dry skin, brittle nails, menstrual irregularities. It may be around menopause or perimenopause already. Now, famous formulas you can consider for this are shou wu pian. This is based on the famous herb he shou wu, right? Lots of research. We have videos on the channel all about regrowing hair with he shou wu. Again, make sure you are careful with that. You don't want to take a lot of these herbs long term. You want to be seeing a licensed practitioner. Another one is called arjuan. These are formulas that treat the hormones and we say the liver and kidneys. On a dietary level, black beans and black sesame seeds can improve this. And there are other things as well, but I haven't seen them clinically to work, so I'm just not sharing them here for you. Sign 17, your skin is dry and flaky. Biomedically speaking, most often if you supplement with more animal fat and protein and omega-3s, you'll see an improvement. Chinese medicine, we call this blood or yin deficiency. And what that means is the blood in traditional Chinese medicine moisturizes and affects the functioning and the quality of your hair, your skin, and your nails. Premature graying, premature thinning, your nails being brittle, and dry skin are all related to what we call the blood. Now, what's so neat about this is you can give a patient a blood building formula, and in the first few days, they'll immediately notice the dry skin go away. So you can see how these traditional formulas really do work almost immediately. And conventional medicine is absolutely zero to offer. So a very simple formula is called Se Wu Tang, 4 substances decoction, famous, well-studied Chinese medicine formula. Almonds can improve this. And another one is called lily bulb soup that can improve this as well. Moving to the nails, sign 18 is your nails are brittle. Biomedically speaking, this can be related to biotin, collagen, iron, or zinc levels being low. And traditional Chinese medicine specifically says nails relate to your liver blood functioning. It sounds weird, but I swear on my life, the formulas are unbelievably effective. Within a couple days, you will start to notice the skin moisturize again. It'll take several months to regulate hormone function as well as hair loss. Usually I give patients a formula for 3 months for hair loss. The famous formula here is called Ba Jian Tang, 8 treasures decoction. You also want to focus on dark leafy greens and also gelatin-rich soups or bone broth and collagen. Sign number 19, your face looks pale. Biomedically, this can be due to anemia. It can be due to just general exhaustion. If you're not sleeping well, certain people will get more pale. Traditional Chinese medicine calls this blood deficiency. Usually when there's enough blood in the system, we call it, you see there's enough color in the face. Blood produces warmth and heat. So for example, when you see like the fat, sweaty American businessman who's red in the face and he has pimples and he's high blood pressure and high cholesterol, this is excess blood heat. So these concepts sound weird, but the actual formulas work unbelievably well, work scientifically as well and as predictive as many pharmaceuticals do. But it's important to learn these conceptually because each of these patterns contains dozens of symptoms. Now, if you're pale, blood building formulas like Xiao Jian Zhong Tang, minor build the middle decoction works. And another one is called Dang Wei Bu Xue Tang, Dang Wei build the blood formula. You want to consume lots of red dates, beets, long-end fruits, and animal protein for this pattern. Sign 20, you have acne or oily skin. Now, biomedically speaking, this could be hormonal or be related to omega-6 excess, which means you're eating too many pro-inflammatory foods and oils. Traditionally in TCM, we call this heat in the stomach or liver or damp heat. And usually damp heat comes from an excess of oily foods, warming foods, and heavy foods, producing a lot of inflammation in the system. Now, a formula that is very effective for this is called Longdan Xiegan Tang. Do not take this formula long-term. It is not safe to take long-term. A safer formula is called Xiao Chaihu Tang or Banxia Xiexin Tang. So a lot of these heat-clearing formulas you only want to see with a licensed practitioner because if you take them for 6 months, 3 months or longer, you can have other issues. So be very safe about that. Bitter melon is very, very good for this as well. Now moving into our final few signs here, more about immunity and recovery. Sign 21 is you get sick often. This often biomedically speaks to low zinc, low vitamin D, or vitamin C in terms of nutrients, vitamins. Traditional Chinese medicine, we say this is weak lung qi or defensive qi. So this relates to all different kinds of biomedical functions in the body, often people with poor digestion. Now, a very common modern formula that's trendy is called Yuping Fengsan, jade windscreen powder. Or guizhitang is more my preference. Gui, a cinnamon twig decoction, very, very effective for this. We have patients come in all the time. They'll be like, let's say for example, a mother who says, Dr. Heyne, I come in, my kids, when they come in with a sickness, I know when they have the sniffles, I'm the first who's gonna drop in the family. She'll take this for 1 or 2 months before cold and flu season. She takes it the whole time her family's sick. She'll be the only one who doesn't get sick in her whole family. The look on their face when they come in amazed is the best thing ever. So these really work. Sign 22, your wounds take forever to heal. Biomedically speaking, this can be a protein deficiency or a vitamin C deficiency. It can also indicate issues with your immune system, diabetes, lots of different conditions. In Chinese medicine, we say this is qi and blood deficiency. This is a deficiency of resources that your body is not able to push to the surface where it needs to resolve these things. Most commonly, I see it with like diabetics, for example. Now, a good formula for this is called Ba Jian Tang, 8 treasure decoction. It has what we call qi replenishing herbs. Mostly these relate to like immune system functioning and that kind of thing, and adrenals, and blood building herbs. These relate to hormones, regulation of skin, and your immune function. Bone broth is great for this. Gelatin is great for this. And also regular acupuncture is very good for this as well. Sign 23, you bruise too easily. Most often, from a supplementation point of view, vitamin C or K may be low. Of course, some people who have anemia also have this pattern. Traditional Chinese medicine calls spleen isn't holding the blood in the vessels. Now, this sounds bizarre, but remember, all of the formulas in traditional Chinese medicine have multi-focuses, right? One formula has a dozen biomedical illnesses it can treat or more. So when you look at the clinical research on the formulas for spleen qi deficiency, these formulas will actually fix your digestive symptoms, but also improve blood cell production. It will regulate your immune functioning. It will regulate your adrenals. And so a lot of these improve red blood cell production as well. Now, a formula that can do this as well is called Gui Pi Tang, traditional formula for digestive deficiencies, as well as what we call blood deficiency, anxiety, insomnia, palpitations. Citrus peel, chen pi, is very good, and other foods that strengthen what we call the middle burner, your digestive system, right? The stove in the middle, are very good for this as well. Now, these signals are your body's way of whispering, hey, I need some help, but you don't have to guess, because with a little bit of awareness and the wisdom of both modern nutrition science and ancient Chinese medicine, you can nourish your body back into balance here. If you've made it this far into the video, it probably means this message resonates with you on a deeper level. Maybe you've tried supplements, stress hacks, or lifestyle changes, and something's still missing. That's where personalized care comes in. In my private clinic in Los Angeles, or virtually via telemedicine, I work one-on-one with people who are done guessing, people who are ready to get to the root cause of their digestive problems, anxiety, insomnia, burnout, or chronic fatigue. This isn't a generic protocol. It's custom classical East Asian medicine designed for your body. If you guys want to work with me one-to-one, there's information, the link right below this video at the bottom of the screen. And if you're interested in other videos on nutrient deficiencies or what certain symptoms relate to, check out this related video here.